Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'd like to thank you all for tuning into the show. As always, I got my crew with me, Darnell and Tyler. I'm Trey, and we are coming your way with the 75th edition of the Don't Kill the Messengers podcast. First thing we're about to get into is UFC 214. This could possibly be the best pay-per-view that comes out this year for the UFC. This is just an absolute magnificent card. There's tons of talent on this card. Well, before we actually get into it, you agree, Darnell?
Yeah, finally they're having a card that actually deserves to be on pay-per-view. It's been a little bit since we've had one of those. So, but I mean, this is one where probably the top fight on the card sells it by itself.
Yeah,
definitely looking forward.
Yeah. Now, the first fight that we're about to get into is Manua versus Ozdemir. Seen Jimmy Manua before, but I'm not really familiar with Ozdemir. I know you were telling me seeing highlights of Ozdemir. You saw his last fight, which he was dominated in 1 in 25 seconds, I believe, and just handled his business. So, what are your expectations for this fight, Darnell?
This is a rock'em sock'em robots type fight here. Neither of them are going to have any intention of going to the ground. Both very good stand-up fighters, which, I mean, from where they come from, that makes sense. Jimmy Manua is a Brit, not a lot of wrestling around those parts, and same with Ozdemir coming out of Switzerland. So, it'll be a stand-up fight. I feel like Manua was a bit more crisp with his striking, more technical. Ozdemir is a little more of a brawler, but real solid, tough fighter. But if I have to lean one way, I go with the technique over toughness, because Manua was tough on his own anyway. But I'm going to go with Jimmy in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jimmy as well. Just like I said, I'm more familiar with him. But this would be a good time for Ozdemir to get a nice little following. People that are not really familiar with him are definitely going to be interested in this fight, especially as you said, both of these guys just got their hands taken in it pretty quickly. So you pretty much you believe it's going to be a knockout, right, for Manua?
Yeah, late first, early second round.
Okay. Now, before we're going to get into DC and Jones in a little bit, but I know Manua was saying he wanted DC. You think if he wins this fight, you think that could put him on to be the number one contender for the championship with DC, or possibly Jones, whoever wins the fight?
I mean, if just for the fact that he be somebody that neither of them has ever fought, I guess there's a chance there. But
you still like see somebody else? Okay.
Yeah, I don't think he's earned that yet.
Okay. All right. Now, this is one that I was really waiting to see. What we have next is Robbie Lawler versus Donald Cowboy Cerrone. These guys are just awesome, man. This is going to be one I'm really going to be glued to the screen with these two guys. These guys are just remarkable in the ring, can just finish the fight in any given moment. Just what are your thoughts on this one, Darnell?
Yeah, this is like the hardcore MMA fans' main event, honestly. I know people are still looking forward to Cormier and Jones, but this is one that a lot of people are salivating to watch. Two killers in the ring, basically. Both are solid all around, especially standing, but Lawler is a good wrestler. Cerrone has good jiu-jitsu, so they both can handle themselves on the ground, but I don't see a lot of that happening in this fight. I think this is another one where they're both going to be standing up. So can Cerrone get off those leg kicks to start opening up other things, or does Lawler keep marching straight through and land some of his own? I can't wait to watch this one.
Yeah. Now, it's been a little bit, Lawler hasn't fought since he lost to, what's his name? RDA.
Oh yeah,
this is gonna. I'm kind of gonna be just interested to see if how rusty he's gonna be in this ring. because, usually like when they got that little time off, that could definitely be some rust. But the guy's a beast. He can, like you said, he has a chance. He can run through some of those, little kicks and punches that, Cerrone can have for him, and he can definitely still finish this fight. So that's just going to be something that, just for me, I'm going to be just interested in seeing.
Yeah. And I mean, both of them have been phenomenal over the last couple of years, but both of them are coming off of losses.
Yeah.
Lawler's off of the TKO loss to T Wood, and
Masvidal.
Cerrone lost to Masvidal.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And both of them are coming off of TKOs, so they both want to get back on the winning track and try to start steering themselves back towards the top of the division for a possible title fight. So I expect them to leave it all in the octagon on this one.
Yeah. Now, who do you got, man?
Ooh. I'm just wondering how much ring rust there's going to be for Lawler, because, I mean, he hasn't fought since July 30th of last year, so it's basically almost a year to the day of his last fight. So, I mean, based on that, I think I'm leaning a little bit more towards Cerrone.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way, man. I just like Cerrone's style. He just mixes it up with those leg kicks and those punches. I think that's going to be a good way to just get into Lawler's. Just get into Lawler. So I'm going to be expecting him to be doing major damage with that. And like you said, you just brought up the whole ring rust. That could definitely have a huge effect on fighters, especially if you're returning to fight a guy like Cerrone. You definitely want to be crisp and everything when you're coming into the ring to fight a guy like that. So, can't really, got to be prepared at the most level for a guy like Cerrone. So, I'm going with Cerrone. You feeling knockout? Think it's going to go the distance or what?
With these two, I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
It's not too many decisions on either one of their resumes, so.
Feeling the same way, man. Now, up next, we have Cyborg versus Evinger. I believe that's how you say it. This is going to be for Evinger. This is going to be for the 145 belt, I believe. So, Cyborg, that's my girl, man. This fight, I do believe she should walk in there and just handle her business. But she's a big girl, cutting that much weight can be a problem. So I'm going to be interested just to see if she can just make weight for this fight. But, she, like I said, everything goes right. I do expect a quick finish for Cyborg in the octagon. She's just a beast, man.
Yeah, this fight is ready-made for her to, for them to showcase her. The only issue would be Cyborg herself. Like you said, just her issue with making weight. I mean, this is the 145 belt, so this should be a little easier. It's not her trying to drop to 135. And then on the other hand, she's fighting a natural 135 fighter in Tanya Abinger.
Yeah.
She was a former Invicta champion. Really, really good fighter. She's tough, but basically it's the perfect fight for Cyborg. She's flat-footed with her stand-up. She's a decent wrestler, but very little head movement. Like, this one's just set up for Cyborg to make some quick work.
Nice. Yeah. So it's, not really much to add to that. Yeah, I just feel Cyborg is going to go in there and handle business. As long as she can maintain weight and everything like that, everything is pretty much set for her to get that belt. So. All right. Up next, this fight, I think this is going to be the most interesting fight. Up next, I'm excited for DC and Jones, but just these two styles from these two gentlemen right here, I just think it's just going to be interesting to see these two in the octagon just fight, duking it out, try to get that belt, either retain it or get it. So, but up next we have Tyron Woodley versus Damian Maia. How you feel about this,
man? It's definitely, like you said, this is one of those where which style is going to go here. Maia his bread and butter is on the ground.
Yeah.
Though he's gotten a lot better standing, but Woodley is not somebody to be played with on the feet. His hands he's got basically thunder and lightning, one and the other. So this one's going to be interesting to watch to see if Maia can do enough to get inside to try to get a takedown. But, Woodley's a strong wrestler himself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if he gets on top, and Maia's trying to open up his guard to try to go for submissions, he's still leaving himself open for danger.
Still be lights out, yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, this is going to be a good one to watch. I think I still favor the champ on it. I just feel like he's got more athleticism to him, and when you have two fighters that are this close in talent, that's usually something you can lean on. Is the better athlete is probably going to come out on top.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I do believe, Willie's a better athlete, just ferocious in that ring, man. He can wrestle and go out there and knock you out at any given moment. However, I'm going to roll with my gut on this one, man. I'm going to go with Maia. That guy just has some nasty Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I just think if he can manage to get Willie down, and I think he's going to roll with that BJJ the whole entire fight. So I just think he's just going to go up in there, get it, work on past those guards and just try to get Willie tired, and try to do his thing because he knows standing up against Willie is going to be lethal. So I think Maia, man, that Brazilian jiu-jitsu of his, I think he's going to get the belt with it. Could be wrong. Like I said, Willie's a beast, very overlooked with his talent and what he can bring into the octagon. But I got to stick with my gut on this one. I just got a feeling Maia's going to pull it off with his Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So.
Well, Maia's super talented. It's just he doesn't have your traditional wrestlers double leg or single leg.
Yeah, true.
His takedowns are drags.
Yeah.
And it's hard to do something like that to somebody that is a natural wrestler and is as strong as Woodley is.
Yeah, So, like I said, man, I got to roll with my gut. My gut's telling me Maia, but I will not be shocked at all if Woodley goes up in there and handle business. He's athletic, like you said. He can wrestle. Great wrestling defense. Go up in there and knock you out at any given moment. The dude's a beast, but I'm rolling with my gut on this one, man. As far as some just telling me Maia's going to pull it off. So, okay. Right. I'm just going to have to see Saturday. Now, up next, we've been waiting for this rematch for a while now, man. But hopefully, we still got some time. I don't want to jinx it, But DC versus John Jones too. These two had a remarkable first fight. Very entertaining. But been talking a lot of trash. Been a little disappointment with the fights being called off for the second one. But if everything goes right, hopefully this ends up, we actually see this because, it was last time we were calling these two, it was like an hour after we recorded the show, like we found out that Jones and Cormier, they got called off due to Jones testing positive. But like I said, just hopefully everything goes right. I don't want to jinx it, but DC versus Jones too, man. How you feeling about this
one? Oh, this is another one that's just hard to call.
Yeah.
I mean, my last memory of seeing Jones in the ring, he looked awful compared to the John Jones we know.
Yeah.
Just very unimpressive in his fight, but it's John Jones.
Yeah.
but it's like on the other hand, though, this is one of the most amazing fighters I've ever seen. So it's hard to call. And Cormier has looked, every fight since he's won the belt, he's looked great.
Yeah.
So, this one's hard to call. My head is saying lean a little bit Cormier just because of the ring rust factor, but my gut is saying Jones.
Yeah. I feel the same way, man. I'm gonna roll with, Jones, my guy, so I'm gonna roll with him. But so, I'm worried about him being rusty, but the thing is, he has beaten this guy. He knows what he needs to do in order to pull off a win against Cormier since he's done it before. So Cormier is going to have to switch it up a little bit. One thing, I was looking at the fight a couple of days ago. Jones was the first person to take Cormier down in his UFC career. I was kind of shocked by how Cormier was just letting him take him down in that first fight between the two. So I'd like to see just Cormier go up in there and stick up for some of them takedowns Jones will be trying to attempt on him. He was taking him down. He took him down a couple of times in that fight. So I just think DC, he's going to have to go up in there and be wary of that. Not many people will. Jones is the only person to take him down, I believe. So he's good. Yeah, he's definitely. She definitely should not underestimate him when it comes to that regard for this rematch.
Yeah, but don't. Real quick, but don't you guys think Cormier's hungry for this though? Like we saw his reaction when he got told that John Jones wasn't able to fight the last time, and it looked. Now, granted, each fight's your life in the UFC, but he reacted on a higher scale than it being just the next fight that he needs to win. Like he wanted that fight bad, he wants this one bad. So like. As much as you guys are saying don't count out Jones just because we haven't seen him in a while, I mean, Cormier wants this more than a lot of things in his life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I totally agree. Cormier wants this fight. He wants to redeem that blemish on his win-loss record. He's 19 and Jones. So, So he definitely wants to get this one back, and I mean, I take him at his word. From watching him fight Jones that first time compared to a lot of his other fights, he fought emotional.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah,
he didn't go in this like this is an opponent that I've studied and trained for to beat. He went in going, I hate this guy, and I just want to beat him up.
Yeah.
But you can't go in and fight somebody that's talented like this without and throw away your game plan. And Jones got him frustrated because Cormier was trying for the takedown the whole time but couldn't get it until round 5. So, I think he's going to come in here a little smarter and go with what worked for him. I think he's going to stick more with that dirty boxing that was working for him in the first round and doing more smothering and staying inside of that length.
Yeah, that's exactly, that's what he said he's planning on doing. Like he told Jones his game plan, he's going to be coming for him, early and keep going at it. So
early enough.
Yeah.
But it's kind of an interesting point though, because like you made it earlier, Darnell, the fact that a lot of times in the fight you'll take athleticism. If the guys seem to be pretty even matched, you just go to the straight athleticism. And a part of me feels like John Jones is one of the only guys that could step into the ring, cold turkey and act like he hasn't skipped a beat. Like, I feel like he's just one of those guys where time doesn't necessarily affect him. Now, I'm not saying like he can't train, but I mean, you have to train, you have to get your body prepared, but I feel like if anybody could come off a long hiatus like this, it would be him.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah, just kind of just like I said, Jones, he knows the formula to beat DC. Like I said, he beat him. He was the one that gave him that blemish on his record. So, DC, he's going to be the one that's going to have to, reevaluate his game plan a little bit. So, that's how I feel going into that.
Taking it back to the emotions from last fight, as far as the media interaction, does it seem like Jones is the one that's more just like pissy?
Yeah, man.
This time around,
he got the shaved head and everything. Man, I was like, dude, he's just all silent and
how much of that do you think John Jones is trying to clean up his image a bit?
Clean up.
Well, but I feel like he's being more of an a-hole than ever.
You're right. I was thinking the other way around. My fault.
That is very true. I think part of it too, man, with DC, I think he matured a little bit in just his little beef with Jones. I think he already knows. He just knows, man. Hey, Jones is the guy that fucked up. He's the one that ran into the pregnant lady. He's the one that cocaine and doing all this stuff. If people like me, or they hate me, I'm still the champ right now. So I just got to go up in there and handle business. He had no control over, Jones doing any of that stuff. So he's the champ. We'll find out who's the better man come Saturday. Yeah. So I think that's just his attitude right now. I still think he wants to beat that ass, of course, but
they all do. But just real fast, I guess what I meant with Jones, like, how much is it like him trying to show like he has been out as long as he has? Like he, I guess we're gonna get into it later with like the McGregor and Mayweather saga. All this stuff, it's the fight before the fight. Yeah. And like, I just feel like Jones is trying to like get the early win in, the press conference round, if you will. But I think Cormier's in a good spot.
Yeah.
I think he's comfortable. I don't think he's too worried.
Yeah, I get that too. I mean, he seems like himself. I mean, there's a different level when it comes to these two, just because they legit they don't like each other. This isn't the show of McGregor Mayweather. This is kind of these guys really don't like each other. Mm-hmm. So but yeah, I mean, I feel like Cormier definitely feels like the more relaxed fighter going into this.
Yeah. Now, okay, I had Jones. You had, did you have Jones too, Darnell?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want it, but I'm thinking.
Well, you said, you still like empty on it and everything. Like, your heart saying this, your mind saying that. But Ty, how you feeling, man? You there, Ty?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Daniel Cormier.
Okay.
Just kind of, we were talking earlier, we feel, Cormier is himself. We think he's going to be smarter this go around. He looked great in his last fight.
Seemed like he just kept getting better and better as shit.
So I just think he just has the world of confidence right now. There's a lot on the line here. I mean, he doesn't want to lose to Jones again. He doesn't want to lose to a guy that hasn't been in the ring for a while.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot riding on it here, but I think cooler heads will prevail here, and I think Cormier's just going to be smart, stick to his game plan, pick his spots, and I think he'll take the W here.
Yeah. I would definitely not mind seeing a DC Jones 3, so whoever,
rubber match.
For sure.
I don't think anybody would mind that.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this, Ty, you can chime in too if you want to ask something, but this whole DC Jones thing, man, DC has been, looking like a bad guy, for really no apparent reason at all. If he ends up winning this, do you feel as if some fans would get back to being on his side instead of booing him and stuff like that? Or do you think it's basically just sealed that people just hate DC?
I just doubt it because so many people still just love Jones even with all of his transgressions. Sure. I think that would just give more reason to hate DC.
Yeah.
But I think he would be fine with as many boos as they throw at him if he was to, especially if he was to stop Jones.
Yeah.
Like if he TKO'd him or something, I think he would smile and take those boos.
Yeah. Yeah, you just brought it up, man, because, like I said, we was talking about the wrestling stuff, but DC has some freaky power in his hands, so.
Mm-hmm.
Ty, go ahead.
Yeah, fans will be fans no matter what. They're gonna like who they like, hate who they hate, even if there's no rhyme or reason to it. So, I don't necessarily think Cormier winning this fight's gonna, all of a sudden fans are gonna go, oh, I actually like this guy. Yeah. So, he might gain the respect of some people, but I don't necessarily know that he's going to gain fans over it.
Yeah.
Or lose fans. Either way.
Yeah. Because, I just think the guy got a bad rap in a way, just with how, fans have treated him. Very clean cut, just went in the ring, handled his business. He had no control over Jones doing the stuff that he did. So a lot of people, booed him and hate him for that. But, the guy did absolutely nothing wrong. But at the same time, I think he's at the point in his career where he's like, man, I don't care. I got the belt. They can feel whatever they want to feel about me. Got the belt and I'm bringing in cash. So can't really complain about that. All right, guys. Anything else to add for, this UFC 214 or just any other UFC news?
No.
It's going to be a good pay-per-view, man. Really can't wait for this. But still a little bit of UFC news. About to get into Conor McGregor. And he's going to be versing Mayweather pretty soon. Just what are you guys' thoughts on the press conferences between the two?
Circus.
Yeah. Like, have you ever watched a movie or a TV show so weird that you sit there and think, what am I watching? That's how I feel when I'm watching these things. Like Darnell said, it's a circus so big that, the Ringling Brothers are wondering how they can get a piece of it. Yes. It's literally unreal. It is, they're not even press conferences. It is trash talking, name calling, finger pointing on a level we have probably not seen. Like, granted, people aren't getting hit. There's a fight.
Yeah.
But it's just ridiculous. It is just ridiculous. There's no other word for it.
Would you say it's kind of WWE-ish in a way, Darnell, or you think it went beyond that?
Oh, it does. It was that cartoonish, basically, but they definitely went beyond like anything Vince McMahon would allow himself. I believe. Yeah. They've tried to touch every portion to try to either get their fans behind them and get their detractors to want to watch them get beat up. Every group has been touched by them. They've offended minorities. They've offended genders. They've offended LGBT community.
Yeah.
You got Conor McGregor walking around in a suit with pinstripes saying "F you" and this is
what happens when you got two huge egos just colliding, man, over some money?
Do you guys think that they're trying too hard to hype this fight up? Like, it was already pretty hyped once it got announced. I think this is almost like ruining the fight for me. You know what I mean? Like, I get the passion and the fact that they're trying to draw up, the crowd, but the crowd was already there. Them doing all this is childish. Like, it's bad.
Like I said, it's with the egos, man. It's, Mayweather already done some crazy stuff alone by himself, and then McGregor too, and boom, let's add just both of them just going at each other in a fight. So it's, like I said, they've done a lot, but, it was, in a way, for me, it was kind of like what I expected, so.
Yeah, I don't know why they felt they needed to do this promotional tour and go to 4 different places because, of course, they talked about each one on all the sports shows the next day, and each one they felt they had to top the first one. So, and when it got to them trying to top themselves, all that meant was just be like more vulgar and and mean or whatever you want to call it. It's just so it was just getting to the point where it's just like, okay, this is a cartoon now. Like, Because, like, I watch it and I'm just like, I don't really feel like either of you guys really don't like the other. I just feel like...
Yeah,
it's a show. It's a script.
I bet I could say something crazier than you.
Honestly, doesn't it kind of seem scripted, though? And I guess what I mean by scripted, not like someone's writing these lines for them, which I wouldn't doubt it if somebody was, though. But I guess just like you said, Darnell, it was all right. Let's have the first one, and then what are we gonna do to one up what we just did? Like, it just seems like it was supposed to be this way from the start.
Well, yeah, and I mean, apparently, like, they flew together to all of these destinations.
Yeah, that's what I was hearing too. Yeah.
So, yeah, it really it can't be that much beef.
Yeah,
if y'all are taking the same plane
and stuff.
Yeah, like that's.
I mean, yeah, I was recapping the press conference they had in London, and like you said, Darnell, it's just like how vulgar can we get? Like, I think during a 30-second span, I heard 6 or 7 F words out of McGregor about, Floyd Mayweather wearing heels. like I don't care what the guy wants to wear. I don't care if he's wearing a track suit. Like, who cares? If that's what you're picking at now, like, let's just move it on. You could have moved the fight up sooner and had less of this crap.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel at this point, anybody that's going to pay for this fight or go watch this fight, it was long settled. I'm not sure what they really gained from these press conferences.
Yeah. Unless they're getting revenue from the tickets sold.
Well, they probably were. I mean, Floyd doesn't do much and he's not going to make money on it. So I definitely think they probably got some cash. They probably sold tickets to all of those arenas where they were for these press conferences. So, but, I mean, outside of that for them, I mean, whoever's paying to go watch this fight is paying to go watch this fight. I mean, if anything, it's just like, get this fight over with, please. I guess I'm just defeated on it. Just get us past this. I'm done with it.
Feel the same way, man. Now, just with these two, like, we've already talked about them just trash talking and trying to one up each other and everything like that. But do you guys feel as if they've went too far with their trash talk? I know I've seen some media outlets saying, McGregor's racist, Floyd's homophobic, and all this other stuff. But do you guys think they went too far?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't think it's crazy to say that. I mean, I get people are saying that they're trying to hype a fight, but I mean, people may not like it, but this is a different day and age where, I mean, you can call it PC, you can call it whatever you want, but as far as your brands go, this kind of stuff matters now. And if you
do you really think their brands are really going to be hurt by that, though?
Well, Floyd's not, but I mean, McGregor he's not old. He has plenty of years to go in this, and I mean, especially with him, I don't think he's racist, but it's starting to show more that he's fine in saying little things to play on somebody's race when he's fighting. I mean, they've shown it with Floyd. He did it with Jose Aldo. Yeah. He did it with Nate Diaz. Like he talked about going to Brazil and like saying some derogatory term about and then called Diaz a cholo, like, because of his Spanish heritage and stuff like that. So this stuff isn't beyond McGregor, like, but you don't want to be labeled as a racist. I mean, like, especially if he wants to keep building on this and have people keep watching him, you don't want to. I mean, not that the black community is the majority of the country, but you don't want to take away 15% of the population, like having no desire to watch you, and ostracizing women as a whole by basically as many bees and hoes, as they called each other, and all that kind of stuff. And you got Floyd throwing money up, making it rain on him, and calling Dana White his pimp and everything. So I mean, yeah, they went a few steps. I mean, it hasn't affected me because I was not planning on giving them $1 of mine as soon as they announced this fight.
You didn't even consider it, man?
No, I've not once considered watching this fight.
Oh, man. I was thinking about showing up at your house for the fight, man.
Well, you will be sorely disappointed.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off Darnell. Like, just yes, too far. Darnell hit it all. A lot of it's just completely unnecessary. Like you said, I understand you're trying to hype a fight, but there still has to be a line of decency in it all, and there just isn't. I mean, I get it. UFC, boxing, both are not exactly the cleanest of images to begin with, just by their sport in nature. But, I mean, in terms of media outlets, in terms of, people of all ages are probably seeing this. I think there has to be some level of decency, and there just isn't.
Yeah, and just one other thing for it. I mean, these two, they're kind of at the pinnacle of their sports. They're two of the biggest draws possible, but what if you're saying Adrian Broner or Triple G and Canelo, or on the UFC side, your Cormier or your Cain Velasquez? Do you really want that to be your representation of who you of your sport?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of these guys are going to make a ton of money off of this fight, and nobody doubts that. But do you really want just these guys to be the representation? So I look at you and be like, oh, so I mean, your sport is just full of guys like this, right? Yeah. Like, no, like I'm not like that at all. These guys are
this is not helping either sports case. Yeah. Like I said, especially since they already have a tainted image based off of what they are.
Yeah. Yeah, in a way, like I said, I can definitely agree with both of you guys, with what you're saying on this one. Just to add something else, different perspective. This coming from fighters, particularly me, like some of my trash talkers, favorite trash talkers of all time would be Muhammad Ali's and Mike Tyson's. These guys got pretty vulgar, with some of the stuff that they said, during their eras. Particularly, coming from fighters, especially, when you go out there and you fight, somebody, you want to knock them out. Before get into the ring with them, you want to get into their head. So, particular reason why someone might say some of these vulgar stuff, vulgar things, will say, just to get into their head, to kind of get them out of their zone, so they can slip up and you can take advantage of that during the fight. I was talking about, previous times, like for Conor McGregor, for an instance, he said some pretty vulgar stuff, how you just mentioned about Jose Aldo. I do believe that played a key role in him winning against Aldo in that fight. Really, since that, Aldo has not really looked the same. So, just from a fighting competition standpoint, you definitely, if you want to use that to get into your opponent's head, absolutely. But from ticket sales and stuff like that, you need to be careful. Mayweather, he gets his money and stuff like that, but there are different communities, LGBT community, all the different races of people and everything like that. Got to be careful because, Mayweather, McGregor, they could probably get away with that stuff. But kind of like what you said, Darnell, the Triple G's, the upcoming fighters in the UFC, some of them would definitely probably lose their job, get fired for saying some of this stuff too. So you just really got to be careful what you're pulling, what you're going to be pulling off, particularly like in the fighting business. But, has its disadvantages and disadvantages. It could, cause people to, come together and enjoy the fight. They could definitely, cause up some tensions, between races and stuff like that. Because I know, like, some people were saying with this fight, they brought up with the whole race issue, just like black versus white, the whites cheering for McGregor, the blacks cheering for Mayweather and whatnot. So, got to be careful with some of the rhetoric that you put out, for sure.
Well, and Well, that's a running theme in boxing. I mean,
yeah,
like for this fight, I mean, if you definitely feel like you have a dog in this fight, this is not a fight to watch in mixed company. I mean, like, I feel like us three, as far as, I mean, I could care less who won it. So if I was watching with people, like, I'm not gonna have a reaction either way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I'll just put it this way, we're gonna have a lot of people that you never knew were Irish all of a sudden sporting flags that day, and a lot of people will be downplaying Floyd's transgressions against women and everything like that just to show their support. So, and those people will look like the fighters that are fighting as far as skin tone. So, I mean, and it's weird because like you feel like this fight should be more Team America versus Team Ireland, but I don't think it's going to work out that way.
Yeah, I think it's going to be more race, to be honest.
Yeah, I would not disagree there. I think it'll play a factor. And, when we're talking about what's causing that, as much as the comments made by McGregor and Mayweather have, basically brought us to that point, like, the narrative the media is throwing on it is also, playing a very, very big factor.
Yeah.
It's not like the media is pulling this as a very clean image fight.
Yeah.
They like the drama, gives them something to write about. So for as much as, we're going to say that, McGregor and Mayweather brought this on themselves, like, us as fans need to have reality checks too and not get sucked up into it.
Yeah.
We can't allow ourselves to, buy into, racial tension or buy into, homophobic sexism and anything like that. Like, if we want it to be, just a boxing match, we need to treat it like a boxing match, not just, allow for us to get swept away by all the narratives that are being written on it.
Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Anything left to add to Mayweather McGregor or any other kind of that sports for the UFC?
I wonder how many people get arrested at the movie theaters.
Ooh, good point. Yeah. Control yourselves out there.
I know tickets are going to go on sale soon. Did you guys know how much they say? How much?
I heard
$40.
40?
I heard
$40.
Yeah. I heard anywhere between $25 and $50. That's what I've heard.
The last article I read was most theaters will be charging $40 a seat.
Okay. I wonder if that's an average. Wouldn't be surprising.
Probably so. Yeah.
All right, guys. Now we're about to move into the NFL for a little bit. This is talk on my man Mike Vick. He made some comments last week that pissed a lot of people off in terms of Colin Kaepernick. We made comments saying that maybe he should cut his hair to have a better image looked at him. Just what were you guys' thoughts on thinking those comments about Colin's hair?
My first thought was, why is Michael Vick talking? Like, this dude that gets busted in a dogfighting ring is out here trying to tell someone how to act. Like, one, probably not your best move. But second of all, it's like, I do not know if Michael Vick counts his lucky stars every night if he got a second chance in the NFL. Because he very well could have gotten the cold shoulder from everybody in every organization. He was lucky to get another shot at it. But, in terms of what he said, I mean, I don't read too much into it. I don't think Kaepernick's hair is doing anything bad for him. It's not doing anything good for him either. It's an irrelevant point that didn't even need to be stated. I mean, Vic came out and apologized, but it's like, was he trying to be funny? Was he, like, I think he kind of said it as a joke, because if you kind of saw the tape on that, like, he said it, like, I think he needs to get his hair cut, and then he kind of paused, and nobody reacted, so he just moved on. Like, I think he was trying to make a joke in it. Now, granted, I'm not saying, like, that's an excuse, but, like, I think he was waiting for a laugh or something that just never came, and it just made him look like an idiot.
Well, I think that pause was more
awkward.
He heard what he said after it came out, and it was
That's
like, maybe I shouldn't have said that.
He's reaching for the words as they're leaving his mouth. Yeah.
So
that's fair.
I'm of two minds on this. Like, I definitely feel everybody that kind of gave him grief for it, just like, why are you saying this? And like, what does his hair have to do with anything as far as this goes? But on the other hand, I think Vic was just trying to give suggestions from his own playbook that he used after he got out of jail. So, because on one hand you could say, like, Mike, how hypocritical are you? Like, you were Mr. Cornrow and Afro when you came into the league, when you were lighting up the league. This is how your hair looked. Yeah. So I don't get what you're getting at here, but when he went to jail and tried to go through his whole transformation, that was one of the first things he did. He got a haircut and dropped the braids and everything, and went on his apology tour. But I don't think he thought about it where it's like, Colin Kaepernick didn't do anything illegal. Yeah. He's not getting a job because he took a political stance that a bunch of people just don't agree with. A bunch of people with the money to pay him for his job don't agree with. So I mean that's where I'm just kind of like, I don't think what Vic said was well thought out. He didn't look at factors here. It's like, you went to prison. You like the stories about you were electrocuting dogs and stuff like this, dude. Yeah. Like, this guy took a knee during the national anthem and explained what the whole stance was about, and has put his money where his mouth is, and is doing all kinds of charitable work. So like, I think that's kind of night and day from putting dogs in fights, and if they lose, murdering them. Like, come on, like you gotta be smarter than this. And
I mean, did you see the tape of it? You saw him saying it, like, he kind of got that glare over his face after he said it too, kind of like, I just said that, and to your point, it's just like, sometimes the wrong person gives the advice, and I just think that's how this got portrayed. Like, it's not that it was terrible advice, like you said, he's just trying to, hey, here's what happened to me, here's where I came from, like, and that's fine and everything, but once again, taking a knee versus illegal actions are two very different camps to come from here. So, to me, I think it's just the wrong person giving advice. I mean, I get it, Vic probably trying to be helpful and everything, but I just think it needed to come from another source.
Yeah, or this should have been advice given in a one-on-one setting, not because I mean, I'll definitely say I don't feel like Vic was trying to be malicious in his statement or anything. I don't think he was trying to mock Cap or anything like that. I do think he was being sincere in what he said. Just like I said, I just don't think it was well thought out. But I mean, as far as I know, they used to be like reasonably friendly, Vic and Kaepernick. So this is one of those ones where you probably should just call, hey, Cap, suggestion. You don't got to take it, but when I was going through my troubles, one of the things I think kind of helped out. I mean, I can understand it's one of those terrible things to say, just because, I mean, no, you shouldn't be judging a book by its cover, but that afro, a lot of white people see it and it's like, oh, he's trying to show black power and be intimidating, so why don't you try to cut your hair? It might make you look a little better as far as approaching a job. So I do understand in a way where he was trying to come from there, but wrong messenger for the message and not the place for the message either.
Was that First Take?
Fox.
So it was
Whitlock
Undisputed? Undisputed?
No, Whitlock and Coward.
It was the Herd, but Whitlock was
Speak for your
Whitlock was stepping in or something like that.
Yeah, because I know it was. I don't remember, but yeah, I mean, in reality, you're spot on there. No, that should have been a one-on-one. Yeah. Totally.
Just kind of like how I've been feeling for just make it real quick. Michael Vick, I think he didn't really, he's retired. I don't think he left the NFL on the right terms in which he wanted to leave. I still felt as if he probably had something else to offer. I know right now, he's, with news coming out, I think he's trying to get a coaching job for the Chiefs. I think
Andy Reid just brought him on as a quarterback consultant or something like that.
Yeah. So I think that he still wants to be a part of the NFL. So I think with him seeing how people and owners and, GMs have felt about Colin Kaepernick and how he can't, get an offer from any team right now, to come play with them. I think part of me, feels that Vic was like, okay, let me just say something that, won't offend these, GMs or owners or anything like that, because Colin Kaepernick is still getting a lot of flack. So I could possibly, still get a job or something like that from the NFL. Because it still feels as if he probably wants to play or wants to be a part of a team somewhere. And I think if he would have said, okay, I side with Kaepernick or something like that, he probably could have turned a lot of teams off. So I think part of that, too, a little bit, man, is how I feel. I think part of that he was just trying to, suck up a little bit to some of the owners and whatnot.
Possibly. But you also watch the whole thing unfold, and you just kind of think like, man, Vic, why couldn't you just dodge that question like a lot of other good interviewees do? He could have. I feel like that whole conversation could have gone a completely different direction, but he kind of fed right into the hands of the interviewer.
True.
Which, I mean, I guess for any interviewer, that's kind of, your dream, if you will. You get a guy to kind of start slipping what he's saying, and he just starts basically foaming at the mouth with it.
Yeah.
They knew they had a soundbite as soon as that was done.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I mean, for Fox Sports, that's grade A stuff.
Yeah.
Perfect. But and I think Vic will look back and be like, maybe I need to, refresh myself of what it's like to be in front of the camera. Be in front of the microphone. Do you guys think Vic kind of knows he slipped up a little there?
Oh, definitely. I apologize.
That's why he jumped back on Twitter trying to put a statement out. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, but now, granted, in the world of professional sports, putting out an apology statement is just kind of the thing to do. You know what I mean? So, I wonder how much of me or how much of him, is really all right, hey man, my bad. Probably shouldn't have said that, and how much of it's just, all right, now I need to come out with an apology for my image.
Well,
Granted, it's both. It's both.
I was going to say, I think everybody's right on this one. He definitely, he still wants to be a part of the NFL family.
Yeah.
And as much as he's done to improve his image from his past transgressions, he knows he can't make too many of missteps.
Yeah.
But he's keeping himself in the good graces with the NFL. But on a little more of a personal deal with him, he's hurting his stance with the black community a little bit. Because you got to remember, this is also one of the first guys that stood up for Riley Cooper.
Yeah.
When he was at the country concert saying he'll fight every N-word in the place, and it's you're sticking up for that, but you're telling Colin Kaepernick he needs to do something to fix himself.
I forgot all about
come on,
that.
buddy.
Yeah.
But on top of that, where's Riley Cooper now?
That's true, but I mean, after he stood up for him that season, Riley Cooper got an extension after that season. If you
and that's it. But I think that's kind of my point. Like, we haven't heard of where Cooper's at. I don't even know how long. And the thing is, like, and now there's a guy that, like, within your own community that needs help. You're kind of turning on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, step alongside of him. Don't step in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so, like, just, like, I just wish it would have played out a little differently for the sake of Kaepernick and for the sake of that.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Totally.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Colin Kaepernick, you guys think it's over for him, or do you still have faith that he'll get on a team, or what? What do you guys
think? His last chance, I think, is, once we're a few weeks into the season, say some teams are just looking rough or
somebody gets hurt,
some quarterback gets hurt, I think some people might start looking at him to see. I think the main thing right now is just some time has to pass to where the necessity can come, where sometimes need will get you past some of the backlash you feel you may get.
Yeah.
So, if you're a team that's on the cusp where you're doing well enough to sneak into the playoffs, but you have that injury at quarterback, he's a guy that could probably steady the ship and get you there, depending on the system you run. But yeah, it's just getting to the point where at this point, and the quarterbacks that have already been signed that can't hold a candle to them, it's like, it's looking doubtful.
Yeah. It's bad when the Chargers are calling up RG3.
Yeah.
Like, let's just be totally honest here. Between the two, who should get the first workout?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It should be Kaepernick.
For sure.
Now, he did have a workout with Seattle, and they chose to go a different direction. I understand, but I don't like that RG3 is getting a call before him. That does not make things look good for Camp Kaepernick here. Is it over? No, I don't think it's really ever over. But it's definitely not in his favor.
All right, guys. Anything else to add for Baker Kaepernick?
Nah.
Okay, now we're about to go into some NBA. First thing we're about to talk about is what the hell is going on with these Cleveland Cavaliers, guys. I would have not, I would have not thought that this team would have been falling apart like this.
Yeah, definitely not. I think, we talked about earlier, egos get in the way. We talked about that with UFC, with the boxing. I think we can even talk about it here. Kyrie Irving is just not having it anymore. And I don't really understand why. Like, people have said, well, what's going to be a good situation for him to go into? And I'm sitting here going, I don't know a better situation than playing with LeBron James. Unless you're going to Golden State. I mean, I think he's giving up more than he's going to gain here. All right, whatever. He has beef. Like, that's fine. Have beef, but still realize where you're at and how good you have it.
Yeah.
I don't see him going to any situation better than Cleveland. I don't see him. I mean, if he goes west, he's just going to be chasing Golden State. If he goes east, at least the only thing he has to possibly worry about is Boston. Now I get it. It's tough to go to the finals and lose. That's just tough. I mean, I don't know from experience or anything, but I can only imagine that is very tough. I mean, LeBron's at a point in his career where he's passing more than anything else. You're a guy that likes to shoot, that likes to score. So you have a distributing LeBron James, and you're averaging north of 20 a game. I mean, if you want the franchise to be yours, wait it out. LeBron will either go somewhere else or retire by the time, he's too old to take over a franchise. So Kyrie Irving would be a lot smarter to wait this out rather than demand a trade and possibly never make it to the finals ever
again. Yeah, I mean, the news that's just flowing out on this one is crazy. I mean, I guess I kind of understand it since it's come out that Kobe's been mentoring Kyrie a little bit here. So I think some of that's coming out where it's like, man, you're the man. You don't need to stand with nobody else. Like, you need to get your own team and set up like that. And like, this is like when Kobe asked for his trade when he was tired of being with Shaq. And from there, they ended up trading Shaq, and he got his own team, but that's not happening in Cleveland. Kyrie's only shot is to get out on his own. Does it happen? I don't know. I don't think it's in the best interest of Cleveland, and I don't know if they get equal value for him. And his destinations where he wants to go, I'm not sure how willing the other places will be to give up enough to send him off outside of maybe New York. But I mean, all that's going to be is draft picks and cash considerations, probably.
I guess the news that needs to be shared here is the fact that Cleveland did get Derrick Rose. Like, I think that is a very interesting move, especially since, Kyrie's wanting to be traded. That makes it look like that they're actually going to try to trade him. Then LeBron comes out and kind of sounds off on Kyrie a little bit. What was it, on his Instagram story or something?
Yeah.
So that really makes me think that they're actually going to trade him. But before they even got Derrick Rose, one point I made to a couple people was that since LeBron's return to Cleveland, he's had that front office by the balls. And if he says don't trade Kyrie, even if he wants to be traded, they would not trade Kyrie. And just because Kyrie wants to be traded doesn't mean they're going to trade him. So I'm kind of looking at it like, it's not necessarily what Kyrie wants here. It's what LeBron's going to want for Cleveland. As long as LeBron's there, it's running by him. I mean, the head coaching decision went through LeBron. Why wouldn't this go through LeBron too? And on top of that, like you were saying, Darnell, the destinations that it's sounding like Kyrie would like to be at, I don't think they'd be willing to give up what it would take, because I heard it said by somebody, and I forgot who it was. All right, say LeBron leaves in free agents. So he's gone. That whole entire bench can retire because they're all old. And who does that leave them with? Kevin Love? Derrick Rose? Well, Derrick Rose is only on a 1-year deal. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, Kyrie would be smarter to wait this out. Because on the flip of a dime, 3/4 of this roster could be out.
Well, I wonder if it's just come back to, like, is a bridge burned with the front office with Kyrie, just because he signed that big extension with Cleveland before LeBron came, where it looked like they were, we're about to make you our centerpiece and build around you, but then LeBron came back and it was like, okay, sorry, Kyrie, but it's LeBron, so we like you, but this is not your team right now. So I mean, and other reporting that's coming up is, I can understand somebody getting sick of how much power one player can hold, and with all the decisions that he makes, and LeBron can be quite passive aggressive with stuff, as shown by the Instagram posts and everything, and he's good for subtweeting his teammates during the season about what they're doing, and he called out the team saying that they didn't have enough to win a championship earlier in the year. He was right.
Yeah.
But I mean, LeBron's he's always making statements like that. He doesn't call out people singular about things. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can read into it and tell who he's talking about. Like he's got at Kevin Love over social media about stuff, and the song that he was playing on his Instagram thing was clearly directed at Kyrie. But it is a Meek Mill song. Just, I don't even remember what it's called, but if you listen to the lyric, like he played it at the exact time to where whatever he was saying was like, okay, he's clearly talking about Kyrie here. Yeah. But I'm kind of with you, Ty. I mean, every report is saying LeBron is not staying. Mm-hmm. So, and honestly, if that was the case, if he was to leave and they have that much of a disposable bench that could all basically drop themselves, like Kyrie, like you're on a team where you will be the centerpiece. They will have to build around you, and they're gonna have a ton of salary cap to do it.
Yeah,
and I mean, I don't think anybody would be mad if they shipped off Kevin Love to some team that's lower in the East or West and get maybe a first round pick off of him too. Like, I think that would be fitting, but I mean, I don't know how patient he wants to be about it. And like I said, sometimes you get to a point where you just don't want to be somewhere. And I really don't get how anybody, especially LeBron, like deals with Dan Gilbert with the stuff that he's done and is doing again right now. Like, won't pay a GM. You fire a GM that got you to 2 finals and the championship. Or you don't renew his contract or whatever you say. And then the GM that you want to bring in, you give him a offer that's $2 million less than what the starting pay is. Like, if it wasn't for LeBron, Cleveland would be the Knicks.
Yeah. Was that offer to Chauncey Billups?
Yeah. Starting pay for a GM is supposed to be like $4 million a year. They offered him $2 million.
Yeah, well, and you know, there was also the big report that this whole Kyrie Irving saga drove him out too.
Yeah.
You know, Chauncey's no fool.
No,
like he knows that a dysfunctional team quickly turns into a dysfunctional franchise.
And kick him right out for it too.
Oh yeah. You know, and so like I just look at the whole thing and just wonder, is a change of scenery going to be that much better for Kyrie Irving? And what situation can he go to that's better than playing with LeBron James? I just don't see it.
Yeah, I don't think there is one. I mean, I think it's going to end up, if he does get traded, I think this will be a situation where Kyrie might be happy because maybe he gets somewhere where he's looked at more as the man, but I think we get back to a point where it was like, buddy, LeBron was covering up a lot of your deficiencies. Yeah, I hope you know that. Like, yeah, you were playing with a 6'9" small forward that is a point guard, so you didn't really have to play point guard. So you could do all of that dribbling and get into the lane. Like, we know what Kyrie is good at. He's a very good offensive player. He needs shots. He dribble, but I mean, for a lot of teams, that's a recipe for having a team that's sub 500, which is what Cleveland was before LeBron got there.
Mm-hmm. And you know, and it's kind of funny because even the teams we're hearing that he could go to, you know, we're hearing Portland, we're hearing Minnesota. Like, Portland is Damian Lillard already. The Timberwolves just traded for Jimmy Butler. Like, does he want his own team or doesn't he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know,
one of the teams was the Spurs.
Yeah, the other was the Spurs. So it's like, none of these are his team. So what does he really want out of this?
I mean, I think it comes down to he honestly is just sick of playing with LeBron. I mean, that's the only way I could see it. Yeah, because you can't say I want to go somewhere where I'm the focal point. And one of the teams you want to go to is the Spurs, where one of the top 3 players in the league is, and the best coach in basketball is there. It's like, no, you're not going to be the man then.
Yeah, like Popovich doesn't even play like star basketball like everybody.
Yeah.
So you're not really looking like a star there.
Yeah, he doesn't make anybody the focal point. Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's crazy. Now, what did you guys think about before talking about LeBron wanting to, fight Kyrie Irving and everything like that?
Put it on pay-per-view.
Might as well, man.
If McGregor Mayweather could sell, so could this.
This would it would definitely sell.
Yeah. They'll do a press conference to it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was mainly just words. I mean, I really don't feel like LeBron is that type where, I really don't feel like he's like really a fighter like that anyway.
He should ignite or something, man.
I mean, he holds that kind of power over the NBA. But I mean, I really think if he really got into a fight with somebody that's not scared to fight him, that if they're close to his size, I don't think LeBron just works people like that. I mean, he would beat up Kyrie just because, I mean, that's like a 100-pound weight difference, pretty much. But I mean, like, I'll go back to last year. I think if him and Draymond would have squared up last year, I don't think it would have went well for LeBron.
Can't fight crazy, man. Draymond got that crazy in him. Can't fight crazy. But yeah, like I'm with Darnell. I think it was just words. I think we'll too much into that. Like, heated exchange, let it be what it is. Yeah. Cool down after.
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those, I mean, Trey, it's been times I looked at you and I said, I could smack the shit out of you right now. I'm not going to go do it. But,
yeah, man.
But, I mean, you pissed.
Yeah. Especially like LeBron, man, for him to, have this, people burn his jersey in Cleveland, then going to Miami, go back to Cleveland, win a championship, and then just see everything that he's helped, put together to win, just start to just slowly fall and crumble apart. There's going to be some frustration towards that. So, I definitely believe, he could have said that, but, I don't think he was about to, run up on him waiting outside his house and let the world star him or anything like that. So, yeah, just think it was just some words between LeBron.
Yeah, and, as the face of the NBA right now, I don't think he would do that to himself. I don't think he'd do that to the NBA. As the vice president of the Players Association, I don't think he would have done anything to jeopardize that. LeBron's a smart dude. Like, he's not actually going to go out there and jack somebody.
Yeah. Well, and LeBron is definitely a brand first.
Yeah. Yep.
Type of person. Exactly. Like, he's not ruining his image for nothing. Nope. He's very strategic. So, yeah, this was just, I mean, like I said, I do feel like he said it, but I think it was just in a way like, if I walked across him right now, I don't know what I would do. Yeah. Like, just one of those type statements, but he actually said he would beat him up. But, yeah, I don't sweat that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, just one thing, like, I know LeBron's just, probably just real frustrated stuff right now. Still, he's LeBron James. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of players out there that when they get a chance to wouldn't mind playing with a guy like him. So it could, it's looking rough now, but during the end, it could really pay off. So get some other players looking like out there. So. But all right, guys, you kind of mentioned it a little bit, Ty, but what were your thoughts on the Cavs getting D-Rose?
Really? Like, I think I'm more frustrated over it than anything. Like, you're telling me you can't get another point guard to come play with LeBron. You're getting the guy that is
LeBron's
injured.
Point, man. He don't need another point guard.
That's true. So then you're getting a guy who's labeled as a point guard, scored over 18 points a game with a terrible team, and can't do much to stay healthy on the floor. I get it. You need somebody and you need somebody quick. Oh, let's go get Derrick Rose. But I think what frustrates me the most is ESPN starts bringing it up like,
oh yeah,
they got a former MVP. Like 8 years ago, like what is it? They had the picture of Golden State and then a picture of Durant holding the MVP trophy and a picture of Cleveland and Derrick Rose holding the MVP trophy, and they captioned the picture, "Well, it worked for Golden State." Are you really comparing Derrick Rose?
It was a slow day at work, man. They had to do something.
It had to be a troll job. They had to be.
I think they actually think it'll work. I'll tell you what, though. If this will be the most rest Derrick Rose ever gets in his career, he's going to be sitting out every other night. He'll have to be healthy to help this team. It makes me wonder if they're going to hold on to Darren Williams. It makes me wonder if they're going to bring up. It makes me wonder if they're going to bring up Kay Felder. Like, Derrick Rose could not have been our best case scenario pick here. Like, well, Cleveland. I'm speaking for Cleveland here. Like, I'm frustrated for them.
Yeah.
Like, let me put it this way. If the Pistons went out and got Derrick Rose, I would be done with that franchise. I would be absolutely done. Like, can you not see what Derrick Rose has done over the last 3 seasons and realize that he is probably not going to help you? Like, nothing against Derrick Rose, man. Like, he did win an MVP, but he's also missed extended lengths of time. He has looked terrible. I do think going to the Knicks was good for him because it gave him an opportunity to build himself up without much pressure. But got overtaken by Jimmy Butler. Now he's coming to a team where he can, I guess, for lack of a better term, fall into the background a little bit. Play behind LeBron, play behind Kevin Love. If Kyrie stays behind Kyrie. But with them getting Derrick Rose, it makes me think that Kyrie has to be gone. But the only benefit there is they got Derrick Rose on, what is it, veterans minimum?
Yeah, 2.5.
So that's a solid move by the Cavs to get him cheap. But I really hope they don't expect to throw this guy in the starting lineup.
Well, I mean, if Kyrie is gone, they have no choice.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's their starting point guard if they trade him, unless they like work out something with Minnesota. And no, because is Rubio still there? No, they sent him off
Utah.
Yeah, I don't know how they figured that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, but when I saw they were talking to him, this was before the Kyrie news came out, and the thought was that they would get him on a lower, because, I mean, the ridiculousness that Derrick Rose was shopping for a max contract was funny enough.
He was shopping for a max?
Oh, yeah. He still thought he might be able to get a max deal out of some team.
Man.
Yeah. Because since he averaged 18 with the Knicks, like, he thought some people were going to look at that and go, oh, maybe he still has it.
He's an MVP, you know.
Yeah.
An MVP.
Yeah. But when I heard he was negotiating with Cleveland, I was like, that's not horrible. I mean, you're just going to it's basically going to be a lower version of your starting point guard coming in. And instant offense, but can't guard anybody, and a lot less explosive, but it works. But they were still going to have to try to find somebody that could spell LeBron and give him some rest. But now, like I said, that Kyrie wants out, I still don't think it's a horrible pickup just because they got him on the cheap, but it's not like, I mean, it's not a world-changing move. I mean, so if they trade Derrick Rose, if they trade Kyrie, they have it's sad to say since Derrick Rose is a former MVP, but they have the poor man's Kyrie Irving backing him up right now. So,
here's
go
Go ahead and finish it.
Well, I was just going to say, so I guess that's the saving grace of this pickup.
Here's a scenario for you guys. Cleveland ships off Kyrie Irving. Insert Derrick Rose in the starting lineup. Is Boston the favorite in the East? Are they better than Cleveland without Kyrie Irving?
I don't know. Just because they still.
I would say this. I think it's closer than we'd be willing to admit. If you think Cleveland's still better, I still think it's closer than you'd be willing to admit.
Yeah, I would say Cleveland in 6 or 7.
Okay.
Because like I say, Kyrie is still a lot better than Derrick Rose, but like I said, they're similar style of play. Mm-hmm. But outside of that, those 2 games, the one that Boston won and the one that they kept it kind of close, they beat them by like 20 every other game.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
yeah.
But with Hayward now, that does make things a little different. So,
yeah. Well, to be fair, it's not like I don't think Hayward can guard LeBron.
Oh no, nobody's saying that.
So, I think the way I view it is I would like Boston's roster a lot more. But and the LeBron factor still gets you 2 games, 3 games in a series. But my only thing would be like I don't know that I could trust. I wouldn't be able to trust Boston to play a ton of defense, and I wouldn't trust Cleveland to get a source of anything outside of LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
But like for me, I would say they're more equal than it's ever been in the East, especially if Kyrie's out. Like I think it would be Golden State versus one of those 2. Like, I know it boils down to that this year, but I think that would be a way more intriguing series. Like I think that Boston becomes a legitimate threat in the Eastern Conference, even though I think they still get smoked by Golden State.